welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon calls on world leaders to finance Africa on energy development. More trouble for Mr. Olusametu as EFCC arraigns him, this time for alleged destruction of evidence. APC senatorial primaries in Anambra mired in controversy as process is declared inconclusive. And UK Home Secretary Theresa May accuses Russia's President Vladimir Putin of allegedly approving the assassination of ex-Russian spy Alexander Litvinenko. Reminder to you that all our top stories are on our websites, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. And do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. And we urge you to interact with the Eyewitness feature in the Channels TV app on the Android, iOS and Windows platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the app on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions. Well, we can now share with you some of those pictures that you sent to us on our Eyewitness portal. And let's begin with this one from Kaduna, showing a car heavily loaded with firewood. Our Eyewitness reporter says men of the Federal Road Safety Corps should go after such vehicles. Next is this one from Ikeja here in Lagos State, showing passengers at a bus stop scrambling for BRT bus tickets. Passengers in the state want the government to look into the management of the BRT buses. Finally is this one from Ogba in Lagos State, showing a gutter filled with waste. Our Eyewitness reporter is asking the Ministry of Environment to do something about it. Thanks for sending in all your pictures, and remember that you can also and always report events that are happening around you. An executive member of the World Economic Forum, Mr. Arnaud Benet, has suggested a public-private partnership as a funding strategy for global healthcare. Now, he was speaking in Davos on major transformation that needs to be put into place to ensure people live longer and healthier.
About the challenge, this is a recognition that as much as we have a very, very strong healthcare industry community, we think that the healthcare industry community in public-private partnerships, in collaboration with the public sector and the civil society, has to focus on access to care and value-based healthcare. So meaning that when we talk about the 7 trillion of healthcare spending globally, of which we think 30% is being wasted for outcomes that are in a way insufficient, this is where our healthcare industries need to work very closely with policymakers to create the incentives to make better delivery of care delivery, healthcare. Now, what about health? That's something that we want to address as a complement to our industry program, and that's where we create this additional community of partners and trustees, because we believe the health challenge can be addressed only as a cross-sector initiative way beyond the healthcare sector.
Now, it was a bloody day for the people of Ulaputa and Ahoda East local government areas of Rivers State after gunmen are said to have killed at least 8 people. Reports reveal that the gunmen, numbering reportedly 5, stormed the community in Rivers State in the early hours of Wednesday, January the 20th, 2016, leaving trails of blood. The police public relations officer in the state confirmed to Channels Television that 8 persons were killed in what the police says were the handiwork of cultists. However, some eyewitnesses claim that at least 16 persons were killed. The Rivers police spokesperson says it was the quick intervention of the force which stalled further bloodshed. He also confirmed that one of the suspected gunmen has been arrested and was found to be in possession of a pump-action gun. Now, he says investigations are currently ongoing to bring the culprits to book. Now, the pictures you can see there, or part of them, show a 2-story building on Allen Avenue in Ikeja here in Lagos, and it was gutted by fire today. The building is occupied by an electronics dealer, Sims Nigeria Limited. Eyewitness accounts say the fire, which started around 1 p.m., might have been caused by an explosion from a gas cylinder. Men of the Lagos State Fire Service have been battling to keep the fire under control, and occupants of the building and staff of Sims Nigeria Limited have also been seen trying to evacuate goods from the building. Now, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, says attacks on pipelines in Nigeria over the weekend have cost the nation around 470 million naira daily. A statement issued by the minister says the pipeline vandals caused losses in gas sales, and as a result of the impact on gas-fired power stations, it's also led to electricity shortages. The sabotaged pipeline, which contributes to the Escravos-Lagos pipeline system, has led to a loss of 160 million standard cubic feet per day of gas, which the minister equates to a daily cost of about $400,000. Only yesterday, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation said it had shut down the Port Harcourt and Kaduna refineries owing to crude supply challenges arising from recent attacks on vital crude oil pipelines. Now, a lot has happened following the attack on pipelines in the Escravos area, and this has resulted in huge loss of revenue and about 6 million litres of petrol daily. What could have caused this level of destruction by suspected militants? Well, I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by a journalist and the editor of The Guardian on Sunday, and also an indigene of the Niger Delta, Abraham Obodo. Thank you so much for joining us on the news at 10.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you've heard the staggering figures there. Did you expect this sort of scale of attack on the pipelines? Does it surprise you at all?
Well, once it happens, of course, losses will follow. It doesn't matter whatever was used to blow up the pipeline. Once the pipeline is cut open, of course, no supply will get to the other end. And whatever is coming from that end of the pumping, the petroleum business, is lost. So the Minister of Power, Fashola, said that 470 million is being lost daily due to that vandalization. And it's so unfortunate.
Well, obviously, people would say this is one attack too many. They've continued unabated in spite of the efforts to monitor, in spite of surveillance measures that were put in place. What would you say is the cause of the renewed tensions that we can see?
Well, what the narrative, the immediate cause for now is this altercation between the government, the authority, and then an ex-militant in that area called Tompolo. That is what is in the news. But what I have always suggested, though, stood for, is the fact that the federal government cannot continue to target militants. They may do everything to mop up militants. If you mop up militants, even the generation of militants, now if you mop all of them up, there is no guarantee that tomorrow new ones will not emerge. So what we talk about is mop up the conditions that create these militants. Once that is done, then you are looking at a lasting solution. But if every time there is tension, then you send in, you deploy a battalion of soldiers to go and get these militants, arrest them and kill them, of course, this has been for over 2 decades now. Nothing has happened.
What are the conditions that you speak about? Some have talked about deliberate policy to develop the area, but which other conditions are you talking about?
Well, that is about the only condition, because if the area is developed, it's open up, there won't be need for militancy. The federal government, each time, what the federal government does is to design some set of palliatives, mechanism to intervene, and a vehicle will be designed to deliver this mechanism. One of such vehicles is the amnesty program. You have the NDDC, you have the Niger Delta Ministry, you have even the 13% derivation fund paid to state government. Altogether, you see that these things are not imparting, and therefore there is something wrong with the leadership of the area. The other argument is that whatever is given is not enough.
So if you said there's something wrong with the leadership of the area, what is that thing that is wrong? Because sometimes the government will say we've done our bit and it's left to the leadership of that particular area to speak with their own people. As an indigene yourself, what is wrong with the leadership of the area, in your words?
That is because the recruitment process, the leadership recruitment process is not in the hands of the people. The people should get the leadership they want. Each time there is always an imposition, a force majeure by higher authority, and almost always the leadership is not just right. The leadership of the place is not just right. That is just one side of it. Then the federal government, I have talked of deliberate policy not to open up the area. If the area is open, of course, the place will generate its own life, generate its own sociology, economy, independent of the leadership, and things will work well. I have asked the question that what is wrong if the bureaucracy of the oil and gas is relocated to the Niger Delta? It will open up the place. It will create other avenues, other opportunities for sustenance. But if that is not done, and you just think that once issues come up, then you do a program, you do this, or you send soldiers to go and kill people or arrest people, it will not work. That is not the lasting solution, because you are just looking at the immediate factors. Once you are through with that, this generation of militants will go, either by aspiration or death. They will not be around. But if the conditions remain, the conditions will breed new set of militants, and it will continue.
All right, Mr. Abraham Owudu, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the news at 10 tonight.
Thank you very much.
Let's switch gears now and cross over to Abuja, and here's Linda Akigbe. She's standing by. Linda.
Hello, Ijoma, and welcome to Abuja. The Borno state government has expressed concern over the fate of youth volunteers serving in the Civilian Joint Task Force in the ongoing war against terror. Deputy Governor of the state, Usman Dirkwa, has made a passionate appeal to the National Assembly to facilitate job opportunities to observe the volunteers when the war against terror ends.
The problem of this JTFs is that at the end of the day, after everything has been liberated, the issue of unemployment, we have now controlled Boko Haram, but to control them will be another problem. So honestly, it was necessary for you to intervene from various communities, from various committees within the chamber, so that we may get where we fix them at the end of this exercise.
We assure you the commitment of the National Assembly, particularly the House of Representatives, to put together frameworks, legislative frameworks that will expedite a quick return to normalcy. We commend your resolve to restore your state back to its lost glory and implore you to remain steadfast amidst such surmountable challenges faced.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, says the commission will review the judgments on the over 82 nullified elections by the courts in 2015. According to Professor Yakubu, the exercise would enable the commission to make necessary adjustments before the 2019 general elections. The INEC boss has been meeting with the commission's officials, political parties and civil society organizations to review elections conducted in 2015 and 2016.
This meeting with members of the civil society organizations is the last in the series of consultative meetings that INEC has been holding to review outcomes of recent elections conducted by the electoral umpire. Delivering his remarks, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission says he will review judgments nullifying some of the elections conducted by the commission ahead of future exercises.
There are lessons to learn from the upturned and nullified elections. And the commission will study the judgments by the various courts of appeal and see what further actions we need to take to strengthen the democratic process.
He also implored members of the civil society organizations to offer suggestions on how to manage electoral violence, inconclusive elections, and improve on the technologies used during the elections. However, civil society organizations advised the commission to push for stiffer penalties against politicians who break electoral laws and cause violence and other problems to the electoral process.
I think we have arrived at a situation
when we can no longer beg the politicians and their party agents and party talks to allow the commission to deploy, or allow the commission to conduct elections, or allow the Nigerian people to go out and vote peacefully.
I think that as soon as we are able to have people brought to account for violating the electoral process, as soon as we're able to get the votes to count, and as soon as we're able to get our politicians to be accountable, then and only then can we begin to see people who really want to contribute to the national development come into politics.
Others ask for a review of the logistics agreement the Commission has signed with road transport unions.
There are states where we have power ascendancy facilitating relationships between the political class and the National Union of Road Transport Workers. So they must be committed, they must be made to sign oath of neutrality, on which, if they default, the Commission can litigate.
Since the conclusion of the general elections last year, INEC says courts have either nullified or overturned 97 elections, with decisions on 2 still pending at the Supreme Court.
The All Progressives Congress primaries election in Anambra Central Senatorial District has been declared inconclusive. The party's primaries appear to be submerged in controversy following the disqualification of one of the candidates, Uche Ekwunife. Election was conducted with 4 local government areas participating in the first batch of the polls.
Wednesday, 20th January 2016, venue of the APC Anambra Central Senatorial District primaries. Several hours, delegates waiting to vote, the exercise not starting at a scheduled time. Soon they get agitated. They begin to chant their demands. Others dance to show support for their candidate. One of the candidates arrived to the chair of some of our supporters.
No imposition of candidates, otherwise they are killing the party.
We have a candidate, second candidate, particularly on that election. Where is the second candidate? Nobody wants to provide her. And see here, they are talking about, let's go out and do accreditation on what? By this time of the day. Let them provide the second candidate, otherwise no election here.
A candidate was disqualified, and I think it is within the powers of the party. If the party discovers that a candidate is not worthy within its constitution to fly its party colors, I think it's a proper thing. It's not something that somebody will come here and start sponsoring hooliganism.
Please, outside the premises.
Preparations begin. Delegates summoned to get themselves into position.
Irrespective of your ward, so bear the chairman of Anocha outside the premises, please.
All that goes on for several hours too. As night falls, all looks set for voting to start. Delegates get on the queue. After several hours of voting, the exercise was stopped to continue the next day. But the result for the votes cast is announced.
As at now, you have had a score. We have 16 void votes. We have 35 for Sharon, and we have 284 for Uche Ekwunife.
Apparently, not all the delegates have voted. They will have to return on Thursday.
As at now, in the rule of election, the election is inconclusive.
Inconclusive primaries, it turned out. Delegates will have to wait, especially those in the local government areas yet to vote, with the hope that the exercise will be concluded on Thursday.
Not.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Joma.
Thanks a lot, Linda, for that one. Now, when the news at 10 returns, we have our eye on Davos, Switzerland, as Channels Television's business team gives us updates from the World Economic Forum. So join us again.